Good evening. Welcome all to another episode of Words on Whiskey, brought to you by Irish Whiskey Magazine. I hope you've been keeping well, and I don't know, those people that I met at Whiskey Live, it was great to see everybody there and have a live event after such a long period of time. So thanks for everybody that dropped by, and great to see everybody, and really enjoyed it. Unfortunately, it seems that I may have caught COVID at it, so apologies for last week, and thanks to Fionn for stepping in the week before. But speaking of live events, we have another event that is always a highlight in the annual calendar, and it's an event that actually, despite COVID, was actually able to sustain itself through some very difficult times. And Belfast Whiskey Week is back again this year, and back with a bang, you might say, because there are live events, and it's a great welcome back to that. And really, it is a showcase of Irish whiskey for Belfast, the whole of the north, and the whole of the country, actually. And we're going to be talking to the man behind it, who is no stranger to the show, who has been on before, and it seems like it's an annual event whenever Belfast Whiskey Week is coming up. But I'm delighted to welcome a friend and the person behind Belfast Whiskey Week. So let's welcome Paul O'Kane. Good evening.
Evening, Serge.
How are you?
I'm very good, and thank you very much for even very humbling, even suggesting I'm your friend. So I do think that as well.
Don't tell anyone.
Do you know what? That's just really kind. You've got affinity with Belfast. You know, you lived up here. You know, so
Yes,
you have an affinity with this city. And
well, I recognised immediately the background where you are now.
I know.
Yeah, I've spent many a night there.
This at the moment has been the home for Belfast Whiskey Club for the last 6 years, nearly 7 years. But obviously for the festival, it is the home of Belfast Whiskey Week. It is where it kind of congregates, where it happens. We have full use of this facility for the whole week, and it's a fantastic venue. But
yes,
yeah, absolutely buzzing to be in here. And I just thought we actually put in the Duke of York. We put in the internet provider for the festival last year, so we have great internet access, really fast internet. So I thought, instead of doing it from home, I'll do it from in here. That way I can at least guarantee a connection for the whole.
No, for the whole that's strange that in a pub you'll get a better connection. But look, I'm delighted to have you on, Paul. I am. We only managed very briefly to say hello, even at Whiskey Live, and it was just so busy. It was a great event, but it was just so busy we didn't get a chance to cross paths properly.
No, we didn't. But here we have to listen. I was really privileged to be at Dublin Live. We were invited as one of the clubs in Ireland who are obviously, we support the Irish Whiskey Awards. We support the blind tastings that go on for that, and for Ali to invite us to Dublin Live to give us a space so we can talk about Belfast Whiskey Club. That was really important. So and here, fair play to him. That venue was phenomenal. It was such a great venue to be in. And I felt safe. I was probably the only person there wearing a mask, probably.
So you avoided it.
But I tried to speak to lots of people, and it was just great to see people again physically.
Yeah.
Come
no, that's what it was. There's a meeting, colleagues and people in the business, and of course, all the whiskey lovers there. It was fantastic. So, and look, this is your fourth Belfast Whiskey Week coming up. Hard to believe, but
you know what? It is our fourth year. 2019 we were physical. 2019 we had physical events. 2020 online only. 2021 hybrid. People turned up in some venues. The rest of it was it was broadcast online. And this year it's kind of going full circle again. We're really back to kind of hands-on, face-to-face. Come to events. And we're doing a little tiny wee bit for those that can't be here. A very small proportion. There's going to be 6 virtual tastings that we can, that we can put out to the world. But no, we're back face to face. We're back doing proper events. And do you know what? I have to say, and see if I can talk about brands straight away, and just say, really thank you very much for the support. So first out the bat, Dingle Distillery. So Dingle Distillery, they're the furthest away distillery, I think, from Belfast, are they?
Yeah, probably.
They're so far away.
Yeah.
And yet they're one of the first distilleries to say, listen, Paul, we want to be at Belfast Whiskey Week. They've been here every year, They are a stalwart. They're part of the foundations of the festival. The fact that Dingle can see the benefit of coming here and getting involved, I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed that they want to be involved. So fair play to Dingle. And again, look, Dublin Liberties, if I can say it again, from day one of the festival back in 2019, have always been there. Not only have they always been there, but they've kind of just put so much effort in. Yeah. And again, I'm surprised. Well, I shouldn't really be surprised, but I'm just super excited about what they have in plan, for this year. So those two guys from the south, that makes it all better for me, because it's just understanding this is a one, it's a one island approach. It is Ireland's largest whiskey festival. I know that we've got exhibition style events. I know we've got lots of brands doing their own thing, but this is a big festival, and the fact that we have those two from down south, and it complements specifically these really, really, I suppose, really supportive brands in the north. Ecklenville Distillery have really been there again from day one, supporting what we're doing and getting behind the program.
Well, I have to say they're great supporters of, and the ones you've mentioned as well are great supporters of the industry. Not just themselves, and it really helps lift the whole industry up when brands like this give commitment. And regardless of what's happening, they've had difficult times as well with COVID as well, and to put their names forward and actually show the commitment, fantastic examples to the others.
Do you know what? I have to say thank you to everyone who stepped up last year, because last year was so strange. I mean, I really was going to brands saying, listen, look, we're going to do an online event. We're going to do it's going to be hybrid. We've got people, blah, blah. We can get boxes out around the world. And look, 3,000 boxes. Yes, there were a couple of mistakes. 19,000 miniatures. Yes, a couple of miniatures didn't make it around the world. But hold on. 3,000 boxes, 19,000 miniatures.
Yeah.
70 brands, circa 70 brands specifically involved in the festival. Brands who, and fair play to them, the likes of Lambay, had never heard of the festival and hadn't got involved. Sleeve Distillers, and listen, the effort they put in, thank you very much. Mickle, Bailick, all these brands coming together, getting involved in the festival. It was just great to see. I really was just impressed. Did Boan not just blow up the party last year? I felt that Boan just put in everything in the kitchen sink into the festival. Yes. They even had their own festival bottling. So it was great to see brands just jumping on the festival, because it was something to do. I genuinely do believe it was something to do.
Oh, it was really needed. I think it was something that gave everybody a lift, Paul. I mean, it was an incredible achievement, and I think it was important to say that Irish whiskey is still open for business.
Without doubt. Look, we have a great relationship in the north, specifically with Dylan Bass. Dylan Bass, so it's Joe McGowan, but Dylan Bass, obviously, the representatives for the IDL, the distilleries in the south. So listen, Method Madness, the Jameson's Redbreast, the Spots range, the Middletons have really well, they've had place, and they are constantly, supporting the festival. And it's special enough that they have their own day in the festival. So every year now, they have their own day dedicated to those brands, and it really shines out. I mean, this year, I think there's 15 different events that day for those brands.
Wow.
And there's some really interesting events that day. I would love to go through the program with you, Serge, and can you give you an idea of what it looks like and what the
festival I wasn't going to list them all, because I saw, and I went through the list, 100 plus events is quite phenomenal in a week. I mean, it's a question of taking that week off for me and making the time to come and enjoy the festival.
Do you know what I think? Look, it's summertime, and look, people do work, so we understand this. People do work, and also people go on holiday. So fair play to the brands who are involved this year, who are not taking a holiday in that period. They're coming to the festival. So Dahi O'Connell from WD O'Connell's coming up. Brilliant. Not taking a holiday at that point. We've got Clan Cola, Ascara. Yeah. So they're going to be coming in and involved in the festival this year. Really excited to see what they're doing. Again, looking at these brands, thinking to myself, they're taking a bit of a punt. I mean, Dahi's been a supporter, but coming to Belfast, it's outside of the norm. This festival is starting to gain credence. It's starting to gain momentum. I think we're in our kind of very infancy of what the festival's all about. I think it's going to take a long time before we realise this is a destination event where people come to understand Irish whiskey, that they come and understand heritage of Belfast whiskey distilling, that they understand what's going on here in the city and how we're revitalising Irish whiskey. Because, you know, in the north, and we know this, but in County Down, all those distilleries, they're just making, you know, they're just making the Irish whiskey industry so much more exciting. You know, we've had stalemate, and not to say that we've been, you know, not blessed with good whiskey, but we've had the stalemate of, you know, the IDL production, the Bushmills production, and the Cooley production. But now we've got new stuff. I mean, look at West Cork. West Cork are happily going to be at this year's event, which is super. I'm looking forward to having Cahill coming up and getting involved. But look at all these new distilleries. You know, look at Shortcross. Look at Rademan and what they're doing there. Look at Hinch. Oh my God, the most picturesque distillery you'll ever see outside of Scotland. I think. You know what I mean? It's just gorgeous. And then you've got Cologne and those mad men down there doing crazy little experiments and causing absolute grief amongst their supporters because they can't produce enough of even the the blended stuff that they're But yeah, guys at Two Stacks, I mean, really impressed with this Dram in the Can. I actually coined a phrase, and I know they've started to think about this. It's called Dominican Republic. Dominican Republic. Keep on thinking about that. Dram in a Can. Dominican Republic. That's my wee thing. But look, we're buzzing. Look, we are. I'm just.
But look, it's not just like about the whiskey either, though, Paul, is it? Because it's going to hopefully bring. Look, I think it should be a tourist destination, and it is to some extent anyway. So getting people to come and visit the north, getting people to visit these distilleries that perhaps they wouldn't normally, and putting them on the map, I think that's really important. And I hope, you know, the Northern Irish Tourist Board hopefully is getting involved as well now.
Listen, do you know what, Serge? Let's be honest, right? Everyone can just take a hard look at themselves. You know, Belfast is known for many, many things. In the last 100 years, it's not been known for whiskey. It's just not, but it was. And yet, when people come to Belfast, they get off a ship in Belfast, or they come here for holidays, and you know, they come from America, they come from China, they come from all over the world. They come here, and guess where they go, Serge? They don't stick around Belfast for whiskey. They go to, they go to Bushmills. Yes. So they go up the road, and fair play, because it's a great, it is the oldest licensed distiller on the island, and it has a fantastic, tourist spot for them. And then they've got all that beautiful countryside, the causeway and everything around there. So yeah, we're trying to change that mindset. I mean, the festival this year concentrates itself on two things. One, it really wants to introduce whiskey to non-whiskey drinkers. You talk all the time, Sergius, and I know that lots of other commentators in the industry and influencers talk to people who enjoy whiskey.
Yes.
So this conversation is going out to lots of people who enjoy whiskey. We love it. We enjoy it. And yet, I think a big part of this festival is to go out to people who maybe don't even understand whiskey, don't know whiskey, and try to involve them into a festival atmosphere to actually taste whiskey, to be acquainted with whiskey maybe for the first time, or to realise that whiskey is no longer their dad's drink, or it's no longer something that old men do in a pub, that actually we open it up and we have lots of fun. We've got so many women, so many young drinkers now in the industry as well, that we need to scrap the old ideas of the demographic, that which whiskey was pegged to be. And I think that we need to be, looking outside the box. Whiskey tastings is good. Don't get me wrong. Like, we've got whiskey tastings.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But we have events, we have experiences to let people actually just enjoy themselves. Let the hair down. It's a festival. Have fun. It's summertime, and it's in Belfast, and it is full of good crack.
Yeah,
So
well, you're showcasing the city as well, and that's important. And look, I mean, I think Big Al. Good evening, Big Al. He's nailed it here, really. There's very few people I know, Paul, that have the same enthusiasm as yourself for whiskey. And Not just Irish whiskey, but in particular Irish whiskey. And
yeah, well, everyone knows that I have my favourite Scotch whiskies. Everyone knows that I have my favourite whiskies to go and try. But yeah, look, Irish whiskey is just a massive big deal, and it should be made a big deal because it creates lots of employment, but it creates lots of and it is creating lots of tourism, and that's really important. And it's creating also a new level of interest from people in different sectors. We are, no offense, but we are seeing people who now use whiskey as a commodity. Whether or not people like that or not, people are purchasing whiskey, older bottlings, new bottlings, and they're looking to see whether or not it makes money in later life. Sure. That's interesting. That's a whole new breed of people who are using whiskey, maybe and hopefully they'll do what I did, which is start to drink it and understand it and start to really appreciate it. So we've got those, but listen, we also have I suppose whiskey allows us to allow other industries to work. So no doubt we're supporting other industries by the sheer volume of Irish whiskey we're now producing. We're supporting everybody: couriers, distribution, outlets, pubs. Yeah. I mean, retail, you name it. We're really pushing. We're pushing up the industry. We're pushing out into other fields. We're giving other people employment. Everything's buoyant, and it's pushing upwards. Big part of the festival is that at the very start we have an industry awards dinner. That industry awards dinner is important for me. It's important because I want to recognise, and I suppose it's something we all know. We know there's good whiskey out there. We know there's not so good whiskey out there, but there's really great whiskey out there. But people already do that. So the guys at Celtic Whiskey do Irish Whiskey Awards. Boom, sweet. Yes. And then we've got and then we've got a space there, I think, to recognise those that make it work. So make the industry work. So our awards that we have in our festival dinner are to recognise people who have really made an effort and made a contribution. And they're open to everybody. So at the moment they went out for nominations. We've asked the distilleries to come back with nominations. We'll go out to public nomination. We're going to allow people to nominate publicly. And then we'll go and we'll do a public vote on some of these nominations to give people the opportunity to really, have a say as to who's really making an effort. Is it the distributors? Is it the designers? Who is it?
So many people involved, like you said, all the support. It's like you're not just drinking liquid. There are so many people involved in the whole thing. Yeah. But one thing I wanted to ask, and I kind of have an idea, my own opinion on this as well, I guess. But what is it about the North, and I guess particularly Belfast, that has made, Irish whiskey such an important element of what they do? I mean, the amount of enthusiasts from Belfast is phenomenal for the size, and these are not just whiskey lovers; these are real enthusiasts with real passion for whiskey and the tradition and the bars there and the service industry. All those people, you can talk about people like Finn, who does the tours, and so many different people, yourself doing the Belfast Whiskey Club thing. What is it about the North and people up north that actually has made whiskey such a central part of their life?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think a lot of people just they want to go back to historical points, and I think that's really interesting. A lot of people, personal reflection. Sometimes you always just want to go backwards. I love to look at maybe what my grandparents did, what such and such did, and get inspiration from them. Yeah. And I think that people have really clocked on to the fact that if you really pick, Belfast between the kind of, mid 1800s, early 1900s, we have a fantastic whiskey industry. We have a fantastic whiskey industry which is really making the city and creating the city. The city is created on whiskey barons, on these big, big massive distilleries which are controlling whiskey around the world. So that Dunville's distillery pumping out more whiskey than any other distillery in the world.
Sure, look, you had Lagunill, Cromac Distillery, Watts Distillery in Derry, all those distilleries.
All of these distilleries made Belfast what it is. You look at the streets, you look at the buildings, you look at the parks, you look at the hospitals. All of this is funded from money coming through the whiskey industry. All of it. And it really is. So there's a lot of people who really want to understand that, want to get to know it more, and really believe in it. And then we've got those who are tapping into the fact that whiskey tastes great. there's not a bad drop being made in Northern Ireland. I can guarantee that. Every distillery at this point in time who can make whiskey, be it Rademin, be it Copeland, be it at Hinch, be it at Ecklinville, be it down in Cologne, okay, Bushmills, obviously. These guys make good whiskey.
Absolutely,
this is not crap whiskey. This is good whiskey. So people should be enthused by that. People should go, wow, we have got new whiskey coming. We've got new pot still. We've got new malt. We've got double distilled. We've got triple distilled. You know, we've got a whole host of stuff. We've got rye being produced. You know, there is a massive amount of I suppose, enthusiasm to see what different people can do. And there's no doubt that that's the same and it's been replicated in the South. But in such a small, and you point out, in such a small place where there is now, I think, more people now really, really buying into the, you know, whiskey as a drink as well. You know, there you go. Thanks, Ron. I'll swat. It is that we're in this place where people are turning away from those white spirits. They're looking at whiskey, maybe not to drink neat, by the way, and I would say that, but using whiskey even in cocktails, using it in, you know, as highballs, but really tasting whiskey. And by the way, the brand ambassadors up here. So Lauren from Bushmills, well done. Sarah from McConnell's, well done. You know, Jamie out of Hinch, well done. Jarlath Watson, you know, Steve McGuinness, Seamus then from Ecklinville. You know, the people like that, David and Fiona pushing it hard at Rademin, Garth and Tim out at Copeland. These people, and look, we've got new people. We've got Claire Kelly out of Titanic. These people have a real way of delivering, you know, whiskey to the masses. Joe McGowan is on a mission. I see him all the time. Every few days, he's doing a tasting for Powers. He's doing a tasting for Redbreast. He's doing, you know, he's out there. People in Belfast, people in the north are getting to taste whiskey, and those ambassadors have made it so much more accessible. I think what I'm doing is trying to bring them all together. Give them space, by the way. Give every brand a space where they can come and showcase what they want to do. Now, this year was really interesting, Serge. We said to the brands, look, come to the table. Do what you want to do. Look, let's make this festival about you. Let's make a festival about what it is that you want to get out there and talk to people about. And so many brands, like, and I do need to talk about them because those brands that you've probably never heard of, and you're going to be like, what's going on? Why are they doing this? What are they doing this for? We have a brand who are on the Friday night, so our opening night, we've got our dinner.
So let's get the dates straight first. So 23rd to 29th of July, yeah?
Oh, well, it's the 22nd. So 22nd is a Friday. You've gone to the 23rd, which is perfectly fine, and that's really when the events start. But the 22nd is the Friday, and we've got the opening session will be with with dignitaries, and then we've got a meal for the awards ceremony. And then in that evening, we've got Dragon Claw. Have you come across Dragon Claw, Serge?
No, I can't say I have, no.
Dragon Claw is a brand here in the north, which is owned by Chris Crooks, who actually, in his day job, owns a fantastic tattoo parlour. But he has his own whiskey, and he's been in conjunction with Copeland Distillery making his own whiskies. And you know what? He's just thrown a big, massive party. He's saying, look, Dragon Claw, we've been around for 2 years now as a brand. We're just going to have a party and invite people to a session where they can just let their hair down and enjoy themselves. And I think that's lovely to see. That a brand says, look, this is a festival. It's a festival party. That's what we're going to do. I think when you look at the festival and you see these 7 days of events, and every day there's a distillery tour. So we're leaving Belfast. We've got buses that leave Belfast and head out to the distillery. So you can go to the Copeland or Rademin or Ecklinville, Cologne, down to Two Stacks, down to the big massive shed down in Uri. You can go there.
Lovely.
You can go to Hinch. You can go to these distilleries and you can enjoy which I think is going to be great stuff. You're going tastings obviously on the go, a tour. You're going to get some good food, really good local produce in those areas, and potentially some entertainment. That doesn't happen every day. Now you can go in distillery tours, but not like this. This is something different. This is something they're putting a lot of effort into these sessions.
This is an insider's tour, if you like, almost. Yeah.
And by the way, and some of them, I mean, they're very limited in terms of the numbers. Particularly, say if you're going to Cologne, I mean, there's only
you're not going to fit a lot of people in there.
There's a handful of people going, and that's great, and that's what we want to see. But Look, every day there's those tours on. And then what I thought is, I'm all about the heritage. I really want people to understand whiskey heritage in Belfast. What better way to do that than having whiskey walking tours every day? So there's 3 whiskey walking tours every day.
Right.
So
okay.
there's 12 o'clock, there's a 3 o'clock, and a 6 o'clock tour.
And who's doing those, Paul?
Yeah, so they're run by 2 different groups. So we've got Belfast Hidden Tours is running the 3 o'clock tour.
Yeah.
So it's 2:45, apologies. I'm not on bag on 3, but 2:45. There's Connor Owens from Belfast Hidden Tours. He's going to be running that tour every day. He's come on leaps and bounds with his whiskey tour. He has been doing tours for a good while, but his whiskey tour spot on.
Yeah.
Then we've got Marty McCauley. Everyone knows Marty McCauley.
Everybody knows Marty.
McCauley. Is he not like the most cheerfulest chappy on the planet? So Marty McCauley is going to be doing 2 sessions every day. Marty McCauley, to be frank, I'm buzzing for his little tour. He's doing it in conjunction, obviously, with Irish Whiskey Review. Super. Yeah. And look, getting those 3 tours every day, there's only 15 people, 20 people on a tour. Yes. But it's great to, it's an option every day. If you're here in the city, take one of the tours. Their tours are different. They're not the same tours. So, they're totally different. They've got different slants on what they're about. Some are more focused on the whiskey. Some are more focused on food and whiskey. But the heritage is there. The little stories that they have, those little snippets of information, it really is. It's well worth going.
Are they walking tours? They're
walking tours, yeah.
Yeah, brilliant.
And they're really good. Listen, they're anything up to about 3 hours. Walking tours. Go around all the different venues. And you get to taste lots of wee things. It's great. If you're really that bothered, you can pick up a hip flask when you're here, a Whiskey Week hip flask, and you can have a wee swig of your favourite one all the way around. But you'll get tasting lots of different whiskies, and it's great to see the brands being involved in that as well, because the stories that can be told about McConnell's, and that can be told about what do we call it? About Bushmills, that at Hill Street, we can there's lots of branding that can be that they can get involved in, and they can understand. But staggering tours, yeah, indeed. But no, listen, I do generally think that they're there for good reason. This is a festival, but given something, we can go to the distillery, we can go for a walk, and we can enjoy that, And then
there's Liam saying how much he prefers Belfast to Glasgow. Fair play to him. Obviously, he's a huge interest in Irish whiskey and a great supporter of Irish whiskey. So you are. So I mean, obviously, I'd expect people from outside Belfast certainly to come up and visit, and overseas as well.
Do you know what? We've got commentators coming from overseas. So Sarge, this year we've got 6 Australian brands represented this year. So there's 2 Australian tastings, 3 brands in each tasting. That's been delivered by John Halton. He's representing 6 Australian brands, which I think is really cool. He's flying in from Australia to do that. We've got Cassandra here, who's going to be coming over from America. She's going to be doing some of our tastings. Hopefully Jack's back. So Big Jack from America, who's here.
All right, okay.
Hopefully he's back. We've got, we've just got loads of people now helping out, and it's really great. I'm trying to promote not just the whiskey festival, but I want to promote Irish whiskey. You know that, and I think that's key to this.
That's a given, almost.
So I promise just about everybody to try and look if they want to be involved and they've got a steer or they want something to be spoken about. How can we help them? How can this festival, give them a platform to talk about things? I noticed a comment there. I didn't know who it was. Apologies, but we're talking about potching. I think it might have been David Cummings.
Oh yes, yeah.
Okay, so
that was Dave Cummings.
Yeah, so we've got on the Saturday, so the first Saturday, the 23rd, there's a potching session. That potching session is it's we're trying to promote Francis Lee. Am I right in saying Francis Levy? Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Francis Levy is going to be having a potching festival in Dublin.
That's right. Potching now, yeah.
So listen, that's about that. We want to promote that event because, quite frankly, that's a great thing.
I think it's Frank Levy, is it?
Well, Francis. Did I say Francis? Did I get his name right?
I think so. Yeah, but
hold on, I need to just check in case I'm.
You could correct me on that. But the other thing, Paul, is obviously where you're at, the venues are really important as well. And a big shout out to those venues that are actually supporting it and do play a vital role. And no bigger, I suppose, than where you are now, Willie Jack playing such a vital role in almost single-handedly.
For those that have never been to the Duke of York, first of all, the Duke of York, we've got Francis Levy. I was right.
It is Francis, so apologies, me.
So, look, by the way, just to go back to that, we're supporting Francis Levy. He's got a mad idea to have a poaching festival in the Dublin Sweet. So we're going to have a poaching tasting where Francis is part of that and he can promote his event. That's very important. Super. Yeah. And so he bloody well should. And look, Duke of York is a museum. So I know we've got the Irish Whiskey Museum in Dublin. Great. Yeah. If you've never been to the Duke of York, you've never really seen a real museum in life, like touching things and been able to like smell, like genuinely. This is it. Every mirror that's in the Duke of York is real. There's no replicas. They're all real. Unfortunately, when they get broken, they're broken, and that's
yes. We heard a story about that, but let's not get into that now.
The largest mirror in here, which is 12 foot long. No, it's not. But maybe it is 12 foot long. It's huge. It's massive. But it got smashed by a rabble. But anyway, look, the Duke of York, and then also Sarah loves the Duke of York. Of course she does.
Yes, she does.
The Dark Horse, the Heart Bar, and obviously the Friend at Hand, which is the only off sales in the whole of Ireland, which only sells Irish whiskey. This is like Willie Jack's playground. He has made something, and it is truly a wonder to come and visit. It's truly a wonder to immerse yourself in the live music which is on during the week, to immerse yourself with the conversations.
So the live music is back, is it? And comedy, live music?
Yes. Listen, if you're involved in the festival this year, you have the option. If you buy a day ticket, you'll have live music as part of your day ticket. You'll have some grub. You'll be able to go and get. By the way, we have this, which I think is cool. Tell me how many whiskey festivals have this, right? They have their own whiskey burger, yeah?
Right, okay.
So Belfast Whiskey Week has its own whiskey burger. Well done to Belfast Whiskey Week. We have our own whiskey donut. So all week you can buy the burger. All week you can buy the donut. Actually, if you've got a ticket, depending on what ticket you've got, you'll get a free burger. You'll get a free donut. Do you know what I mean? Just confirming whether or not we have our whiskey pizza this year.
Right, okay. Well, that'll be a first.
Yeah, but listen, we've got, we're doing lots of collaborations, Serge. I think one of the things about the festival is that, as I said, we don't necessarily need to continually talk to people who drink whiskey, because we do that anyway.
Yes,
it's about talking to people who don't necessarily drink whiskey, and we need to encourage them to start understanding how great it is. So how do we do that? Cookery classes. So using, we're going to be using whiskey in cooking. So we've taken over Belfast Cookery School. Boom. We're in there working with the chefs who are, for anyone who doesn't know, it's Modern Seafood, the guys who run Modern Seafood. And they're going to be doing some sessions with us making food with whiskey. That's smart. Making chocolates with whiskey using Jerry from Chocolate Manor, who we did last year in the tasting boxes. Anyone who enjoyed those chocolates, actually make them this time. Come and physically make them. Come and do that. So we're going to be making whiskey chocolates. There's some fun things. I don't know, Serge, if you're still single, right? But if you are, speed dating.
Whiskey speed dating.
Listen, there's 3 speed dating sessions in the festival. Wow. And again, that's to try and listen, supported by Dublin Liberties Distillery in order, and we're working in conjunction with a company called, they're called Rate My Date NI, which is a company which has been literally running these events for the last year. The couple who run it met at a speed dating session, and they love it, and they're just making it happen. Look,
this is what I love. I mean, the different things that probably haven't been done before. It's great to see, but something just so different. Where is everybody going to find out all the details, Paul? Is it all on the website?
Well, do you know what? I swear it has troubled me in the last week, because we put out the distillery days, negative Hinches Distillery Day. Well, that will go up, and Jamie has quite rightly now just given me the appropriate timings for that. But look, the tickets for the distillery dates is really. I know, Robert. I know, and it was your idea. Was his idea for speed dating? That's why I put it in the program. Now he's not even coming. He owes me a favor. But look, there's
He's no longer single.
Right? Is that what it is? Well, we've got this thing where, suppose we've got this thing where we put out the distillery days, and what we then wanted to do was then put out.
There's an offer that I might refuse, but thanks anyway, Eric.
we want to put out day passes, and then we want to put individual tickets out. And what was happening was lots of changes within the program. People not responding quick enough. So there was some people who have not responded quick enough to the information that we were looking for, and that's kind of causes a bit of issue. So we're probably, and what you should see tonight is you should see individual events starting to be listing. You won't be able to purchase them just yet, but you will see them now coming on. Individual events will start.
And what's the website? Is it?
So at the moment, it's redirected, but it's just BelfastWhiskeyWeek.com. So BelfastWhiskeyWeek.com. It will redirect because we actually crashed the site. So thank you very much, everyone who tried to log on at the same time and just crashed it. That was great crack.
Yeah.
Caused me a little bit of a flutter in the chest, but so if you log on to BelfastWhiskeyWeek.com, certainly over tonight into tomorrow, you see all the individual events being listed. When we know that we are ready to sell the tickets, which I hope might be tomorrow, fingers crossed. And if it is, we'll let everyone know. We'll do a time, we'll do a countdown and let people know, because it will be first come, first serve. And what I would say is that there is a lot of value, Serge, and I do mean this. Like, we've looked at how to make this as cooperative as possible, i.e., we want to take the costs and eliminate as many costs as possible. And what do I mean by that? Well, listen, if you can come along and spend the entire day with us, come for a day ticket. So anyone from the south who wants to get a train up, events kick off around about 12 o'clock. All right, and we'll finish around about 12 o'clock at night. Okay, now you can go home, you can come up and can come home from Dublin. It's not a bar, and to come up, I think roughly our day tickets will be less than £100. And our day tickets will include 4 sessions. You get to pick them. So when you go onto our website, you'll be able to look at the time slots and you'll be able to pick 4 sessions.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Now, there's some sessions on there, say you wanted to do, and we are doing a dream cask, the full set. If you wanted to do that session, that's at cost price, by the way. By the way, it's not at auction prices, just to let all the people out there know who are weirdos who are trying to sell, bottles online for crazy money, even though they're just flipping them. Let's put that aside. I have physically bought those dream casks, and I bought them at and some of them just over retail price, because I wasn't lucky enough, by the way, never have been lucky enough to get all of them through ballot system. So we're doing it at cost price, and we're going to do a tasting. And listen, it is cheap as chips. And what I'd say about that is, if you wanted to add that onto your day ticket, you'll pay a supplementary charge. There'll be a couple of tastings like that. There's one with Dunvilles. They're doing like their green label event. There might be a supplementary charge for that. But to be honest, these events, some of them priced at £5, some of them priced in around about kind of £50 mark. So you can imagine doing a couple of different events. You're going to be saving. You could potentially, by buying a day ticket, you could be saving 100, maybe 150 quid, depending on what events you're taking on. So have a look at them when they come online. They are great value for money. What I'd say is they're geared towards, the pricing is geared towards people who maybe don't drink whiskey, and it's to try and encourage them to be involved as well. So there's no ripping, there's no taking the hand out of people, there's no there's no gouging here. It really is about affordable options for people to drink. And by the way, we did our research. It's not like we just came up with numbers. We went out and asked people, how much would you pay for this? What would you do? And for every time that someone said something, we went, right, we'll make it cheaper than that. We'll bring that price down. We'll get it to the point where we know what we're doing, and we've got the venues, we've got the collaborators we're working with. How do we make it all work so it's cost effective for people? So I hope to God every year we've given value for money. I hope to God that we've particularly
up north you do get value for money up north. Things are getting expensive, but you do get better value, I think.
Oh, I definitely think that. I definitely think that, and I think that we've got there's some really cool things there. I would say that Dingle have some cool things. They've got a Q&A session with Master Distiller Graham. Yes, boom, that. They also have a dinner date, so you can actually come for dinner with Dingle. So we're going to have a dinner session, nice little meal with Dingle, having some nice whiskies. That should be a lovely session with those guys. There's out of the box, well,
you see, there's still lots of time then, to plan the week, or plan even go up for one night or just go up for one day.
I would recommend that even like if you can come up for a couple of hours, why would you not come up for a couple of hours? I think the fact that we've left it, with so many hours and so many sessions in a day, anything between 13 and 15 sessions in a day. Yeah. 13 and 15 sessions in a day. I mean, that's a lot. I mean, you won't get around them all. You probably get through 4. I think 4 is probably where the sweet spot is. There will be some days.
It gives options for people, of course, to really tailor what they want to do, which is nice.
Exactly. And you know what? Yes, some people will be disappointed. Like, if you're coming to the chocolate making class, there's only 15 spaces. Okay, but we're running it twice. So, you know what I mean? Or we're running, cocktail making classes. There's a few of them during the week. Come and learn how to make good cocktails. Yeah. Really, really cheap option to come and understand whiskey, drinking it, making cocktails. Smart thinking. Look, we've got people. We've got Joanna. I meant to say, sorry. We've got people. We've got Joanna coming from America. From Canada, and doing a Canadian tasting. Brilliant. So everyone knows of the Spirit of Toronto Festival. So Joanna, who organises that, is coming over to deliver Canadian whiskies. I'm just looking at the list of really cool things. We've always done pre-1970s tastings, yes?
Yes.
Really important to look at historical stuff. So again, there's 2 of those this year. But instead of just focusing on Irish, we're going to merge them. We're going to have pre-1980s Irish and Scotch. Excellent. So we can actually look at the 2 of them side by side, because I think that's been missed the last couple of years. We've done them separately, and people have really loved the Irish ones. And not many people have really geared themselves to the Scotch. And I'm like, guys, this Scotch stuff is good. Get involved. Understand them both. Understand them where they're coming from at different times, the wine and whiskey pairings. So again,
that's a new one.
Well, we did it last year, and we've done it 2 years in a row actually. Because what we've done is, we've worked with the Northern Ireland Wine and Spirits Institute, and what they're doing is they'll be looking at the wines. Hopefully, we've got Derek from Experiences Irish Whiskey. Hopefully, he's going to be doing the kind of spirits side of it, and really a great opportunity to taste really good whiskies with very, very good wine. And look, I'm buzzing. There's just a mass amount of different things. We've got, let me think, we've got burger nights. So there's burger nights, there's, food, there's food pairings. We've got our own donut. We've got our own donut for the whole week, but we've actually got donut sessions where you can come and do pairings with donuts that are being specifically made for our event, which is pretty cool. Yeah. Some really interesting things there. What else have we got? W.D. O'Connor doing a cocktail and whiskey masterclass. We've got Titanic, who look, they're trying hard. I mean, they're trying hard. They're going to be doing their own. They're going to be doing their own event this year, which I think is cool. They're doing it in Bittles and they're doing it in Madden's. That'll be interesting to see what they've got there. They've only got the one product, but how do they develop that? McConnell's, again, look, McConnell's are. Do you know what? They're just putting such an effort into this festival. I'm really impressed with Sarah, John. The guys are making an effort. But again, how do they go from these 2 products that they now have? How can they push the boundaries? What can they show us? What can they do? So I'm really interested to see those extended. Ecklenville have their own cocktail party. Really excited to just have a cocktail party with Ecklenville. I really love that idea of, if you've got the chance to go to Hinch at their distillery, they're doing a sit-down Q&A session with a really interesting, array of food. It's like nearly enough a food pairing that they're doing at the distillery as part of their tour. Down there. Bushmills are doing a lovely food pairing out of a really classy restaurant. That's going to be interesting. There's a breakdown of the Sexton, that they're doing a Sexton breakdown. That'll be great as well. What else have we got? Something.
I'm going to have to clone myself to be able to see all these different things.
Yeah, but you know what? All of these, like as I say, that there's people making an effort. There's people coming up here and making an effort. There's bound to be brands that I haven't even mentioned yet that we're buzzing to be involved, that want to be involved. And by the way, and there's some brands that aren't involved. So don't get your hopes up. There's some brands who you might expect to be here and they won't be here. And listen, there's good reason for it. Maybe it's the wrong time of year. Maybe it's the holidays. But also sometimes it doesn't fit. Maybe the exhibition style does fit. This maybe doesn't fit the criteria. So look, we've been let down. I always talk about we've been let down in the past by some brands who lead you on and lead you on and lead you on. Yeah. This year, that they get to the last and they kind of go, nope, we're not doing it. But here,
you see, what I like about Belfast Whiskey Week, Paul, in particular, is that if you like, you're tasting the whiskey and the experience in its natural environment. You know, it's different to going to a festival show where you go and see a stand, and each has its pluses and minuses. But this is
listen, I've said this
different.
from day one. See a Dublin Live event, and listen, again, we have to just give kudos to Ali. Like, those events are super important. One, for the trade. Two, for the consumer. But for the brand itself to flex, to show up and stand next to its counterparts, its peers. I mean, that's super important. That has to happen. Those events need to take place. But for the consumer, let's imagine this for one moment. Those events are 3 hours long.
Yeah.
This festival, if you took all the hours of all the events together and put them together, you can't replicate that in an exhibition style. You can't also replicate, and listen, brands need to continually be aware of this, you cannot replicate that personal level of engagement, because at those events, and Ali does it well with the master classes, that's where people really kind of delve into the brand. And yet, across this festival, there's multiple master classes. Multiple.
I mean, it's a much deeper brand engagement, I think, for those that are, supporting the week, and be that from the brand itself to the venue, because that's important for the venue, I'm sure, as well.
No, very much so, and that's why we've got some cracking venues. The Deer's Head, probably a lot of people haven't heard of that, but they've got their own brewery inside. They're going to do a Boilermaker session. Boom. They've also got a lovely cocktail bar upstairs, which we're taking over. We've got Common Market, which is a huge, big venue with lots of space, lots of little eateries inside. We're taking over that venue for a whole day. That hasn't been done by many, many people, let alone, let alone some of the brands. We're taking over that place. Live music events. We've got some really interesting brands that I'd never heard of until recently. So, Foxy's Bow.
Yeah, come across them. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I was like, right, okay, what are you guys going to do? How can we make that super interesting? So they're involved. They're going to be doing they're going to be doing one of the burger nights. They're going to be doing a burger session. We've got, who else have we got? Yeah, Liberator. Yeah, Morris O'Connell. So they're going
to. I saw that. So that they're coming up as well.
Yeah,
so.
Scotch Malt Whiskey Society are back again this year. Super Brilliant. Stuff. Do you know what I mean? We've got.
So although the main focus is Irish whiskey, there's a lot of other brands. You mentioned Australian, Canadian.
Yeah. I mean, just having different brands involved, it makes it more global. But look, and I do believe this, and I will keep saying this. Look, having discussions with brands from outside of the country, that's going to be important, because we can't be insular. We can't just think Irish whiskies, that's it, the be all and end all. Because it's not. We also know that when a brand like White and Mackay phone you up and they say, Paul, we'd like to be involved in the festival, you know that you've spoke to someone, or someone's spoken about you, and all of a sudden
something right.
Yeah, we're doing something right. So if Dalmore is represented, or Jura or Fetter Cairn or something else is here at the festival, it's because
are they attending? Yes.
Yes. No, I mean, so you've got you've kind of got a festival which is in Ireland. It is the largest type of whiskey festival event of its kind. And by the way, can happen in other places. It's not that it can't, but it's happening here. We've got some very special relations with the venues, the Duke of York, White's Tavern. We're going to be working through Bianca Group, so thank you very much. So we're going to be in different venues there. We're actually going to be in some really, outside of the city, moving around. So we're up in Ben Madigan's, which is in the north part of the city. There's a couple of other groups that own bars in and around the city. We're going to be using them, and it's just we're in the Linden Hall Library, I believe. That came through.
Oh, that's fantastic! Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be doing a really interesting session in there. We're obviously we've got beautiful buildings. So the likes of the Merchant Hotel, we're going to be in there. We're obviously in Europa. We're
Have you preferred hotels or hotel partnerships for people that might want to come and stay for?
We do. So that there's a discount. So if you want to come up that week, there's a 15% discount. Everyone who buys a ticket will get the link. We're going to be sending them in a separate link saying, thank you very much, this is your event. We'd like you to understand what's going on in the event. And also here, if you're going to be booking a room, here's the discount code for the Hastings Group hotels.
Right.
So you can use that there. I think at the moment, look, we all know hotels have been costing an arm and a leg. Came to Dublin and managed to scrape a free one. Thank you very much to David and Fiona. Look, we're expensive, but we're not that expensive. We're not as expensive in the south, when it comes to hotels at the moment in the north.
Well, look, it's summer as well. It is peak time.
It's summer, it's peak time, but you want people to come and listen. You want people to come and stay. So you're more than welcome to come and stay. I love the fact that we generally do have people coming from different countries to want to be part of the festival. There's a whole group of Americans. At some point, no doubt, I would love them to come over as a holiday and take part in the festival for a couple of days and then travel around and meet all those great distilleries that are involved. I really think that will be this will be a tourist destination. It will be a destination for a festival. At the exact same time in Belfast, we have Gay Pride.
Yeah.
We have Belfast Traditional Music Festival at the same time. These go hand in hand. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They genuinely go hand in hand.
Look,
are creating a buzz around the city. We've got people coming in on cruise ships on a constant daily basis in the summertime. People flying in from all countries to come on holiday. So, look, I see it as being a tourist trap for a lot of people. But listen, it is definitely always going to be there. It's always going to be there for the whiskey lover and the enthusiast. That's why we've got so many different types of events on. Certainly something for you, Serge. There's something for there's something for Finon. There's something for our friends over in Sweden. If he ever decides to come over, Robert gets a flight, and
I'm sure there'll be lots of people over. But I think it's the kind of event you could actually combine with doing your own thing as well. So if you wanted to take part in a couple of events and then maybe, I don't know, go to St. George's Market or go into the city in Victoria Square and all the rest, it can easily be done.
Definitely, and that's why there's events on at 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Everyone will have their own timetable. Everyone's expected to do their own things. No one, we're not pressing people to stick to a certain route. No, that's what I'm saying. Look, a 3-hour time slot. Well, that's it. I think this is different. I think this is pick a couple of hours. Come and do a couple of.
But I'm sure you're glad you're not filling a few thousand bottles as well. So you mentioned there are 6 virtual events.
Yeah, so we're not. Are we? Yeah, we are filling a couple of thousand bottles, but not as much as what we did last year. So actually, we've made 300, or I say we've made. There's 300 packs. So there's 300 packs this year. They have 30 samples in each pack. Each pack will then be split up into 6 different sessions, and we will run them at 12 o'clock every day. Virtual sessions. They'll go live on the Facebook and YouTube accounts, and they'll be there for people to go back and reference. But this it's called Taste of the Festival. It's brands who have wanted to put their product in to make sure people outside of Belfast actually have an opportunity to be involved. I think that's very important.
No, absolutely.
And by the way, Serge, I intend to do something, and if people remember, going through 2020 and 2021, I did a Christmas event and I did an Easter event. Yes. I'm going to go back to that virtually and allow some people to take part in smaller bespoke sessions. Anyone who noticed and anyone who came and spoke to me down in Dublin, I would have talked about a thing called Irish Whiskey Club. It's a thing where I believe that we have members from Belfast Whiskey Club who are not in Belfast, and it's been great because we grew our membership, nearly doubled in some respects for over COVID, because the people really were coming to us wanting to get involved, because we could send out across Mark indeed, St. Patrick's, because we could send out whiskey so they didn't have to be here. And I still think there's a whole host of people who maybe still don't get out as much. And this is pre-COVID. This is not just to do with COVID. People who don't leave the house as much. People who are actually okay doing virtual tastings. But again, if you're in a different country and you want to interact with a brand specifically, or you want to interact with with other people, then sometimes that's the only way. So you will see more of those types of events taking place.
Robert is asking for more details about the Irish Whiskey Club.
I know. So look, it's not going to happen before the festival. What we have agreed is that there's going to be at least 2 sessions every month. So we're going to, we're going into partnership with another organisation, which allows us to do 4 sessions a month, 2 physical here in Belfast and 2 outside, for Irish Whiskey Club members. So so everyone is an Irish Whiskey Club member who's ever been involved in Whiskey Week or has ever been involved in the Facebook pages that we have. And I think that it's to make sure that we have that relationship. There's so many people like Robert, like Shimini, do you know what I mean? Like the guys in the States who genuinely look. And by the way, what Barry Chandler's doing is phenomenal, and they have a fantastic grouping there. But there's lots of people who don't even fit into those categories. People who really are involved in watching these shows. They listen to the influencers that likes of Al, who's on here tonight, or they listen to Phil or Jim, or they listen.
Laurie was on as well. Yeah.
Listen, Laurie's coming up here. He may come on here and tell you that he's coming on to do some sessions with us. He's
brilliant,
coming up. And look, and by the way, the door is always open to people who want to come up and support the festival in any way they can. If they want to come up and physically do something, I know Loughran's going to come and do something. We're fitting people into the festival to help out, where actually they can benefit, where they're getting some more experience about delivering their sessions as commentators and influencers. But look, Serge, if I keep on saying it, look, we're doing this for the crack. There's no other reason. Look, I've got other projects that I work on. People know that I work hard on other projects. I'm probably now at some point you're going to see more of me on the kind of radio, or more of me in the news trying to press social issues, because I'm really concerned that our country as a whole, in Ireland and in the UK, is going downhill on certain social issues. We're not getting anywhere. And so, like, people, this is a hobby. This is good crack. This is good fun. The people who are around me, thank you very much to Johnny and Niall, Liam, Stuart.
I think the guys at Irish Whiskey Auctions as well have been helping you.
Oh my God, Anthony and Katie.
Yes,
Unreal.
Yeah.
Listen, those guys, John, if it wasn't me running Belfast Whiskey Week, it was them.
Yeah.
John, they made it happen. But look, you've got to remember, what they did was a phenomenal. They went above and beyond their jobs. And when we go into a partnership to work with someone, you don't expect what they did. So listen, I appreciate that. But you've got, and again, look, the fact that they're involved and they see something positive in the festival is really important. For me, it's the brands that we have, and the distilleries.
Look, it's the brand of the people and the city. I think it's just such a vibrant city. I can't emphasize enough how vibrant the city is. It's really the perfect setting, and the hospitality people will get there will be, if you haven't been to Belfast, like, I don't know, I should be a brand ambassador for Belfast, because I just love that city.
You need to come back up here and live. Anyone who has the opportunity to come to Belfast and live in Belfast, you will absolutely love it. It genuinely is a phenomenal place to come and live. I had a debate. There was a debate online, and it was Twitter. I don't normally get in a Twitter debate. Don't normally do that. I kind of stay away from Twitter debates, but some guy had gone and he criticised Willie Jack, and he criticised a guy called Bill Woolsey, who owns the Merchant and Bianco Group, and he criticised, we're talking about derelict buildings, and he criticised the fact that nothing stalemate is happening in Belfast because these two big owners are stopping people getting bar licenses and everything else. Well, we do have an issue in Belfast about bar license, and we have that across the country because it's so expensive and there's no movement on getting new ones.
Yeah,
that's not necessarily two people's problem. And I was trying to argue, and Twitter's not the kindest place to be in an argument, but I was trying to say, listen, what Willie Jack has done for Irish whiskey, it must be up there in the top 10 people who have literally been movers and shakers of Irish whiskey. If there's one person, and he, by the way, doesn't even drink Irish whiskey, and yet this man is making it happen here in Belfast. He is making the whiskey scene in Belfast happen. It's thriving because of him, And look, we're about to see one of the largest tasting rooms in the country open up. Yes, I think we're looking at October time now, but we're going to have a huge big tasting room here as an add-on to the Friend at Hand. It is massive, and fair play. All they did was went, listen, I need more space. We're going to create something big, and that's really great because we've got so many. Look, there's other companies out here. Tasting Tour. There's the Belfast Hidden Tours. There's like what Marty McCauley does. in terms of, tour guides coming around. They use this place as a hub. They come in here, they do whiskey tastings, they take groups around, and look, to have the largest whiskey tasting room in Ireland, I think is just going to be fantastic.
Well, that'd be something to look forward to for sure. Yeah.
Well,
Tell me, Paul, just in terms of going live this year, what have you learned, I suppose, over the last 2 years, or has it been of any benefit, I suppose, having the last 2 years closed, and or did you just have to rethink the whole model?
Do you know, I was at a Chamber of Commerce, so Belfast Chamber event today. It was an AGM, and I was listening to what was being said, and some of the things were really, really, kind of hitting home. Lots of businesses turned off, shut down, got rid of staff, stopped what they were doing. Yeah. I had a choice to make in 2020. A choice was was clear. Either shut down, don't do anything in the summertime, or do something virtual. And I just could not, because I'd only had my first festival in 2019. I was like, well, that was really crap. If I don't do something this year, I mean, what was the point? So I had to do something online. And I thought, I thought we handled it really well. There was lots of things, but I thought we handled it really well. And then
I must give out a shout out to. I want to give a shout out to Big Al here, because he probably the most understated proponent of Irish whiskey and whiskey in general. I think he's just plays such a big role in promoting whiskey, and he does it quietly in his own way and promotes it, and genuine interest and genuine opinions. So if anybody's interested in finding out more, he has his own YouTube channel as well.
He does, and he's doing well. He's subscribers. Well done.
Yes, so congratulations.
And listen, by the way, he's come through a hell of a lot as well. Look, if we know he's really impressive stuff. And he's a big fighter. But no,
what about the social coverage for the event now? This have you organised anything? Are you doing it yourself? Have you got people to help you? Or is it community driven?
Yeah, no, we've got different people on board now. So, like, as I say, we've been slow in terms of not putting something out until we got as many brands giving me the right information at the right kind of time. And again, not leading me down garden paths like some people might have. But look, so that had to be clear. But we've gone into a whole kind of PR drive now. So what you will see, we will be on the local radio here. So in Belfast, we're on U105. We have lots of little segments with them. We're in most of the newspapers, and you'll see that continuous. You'll see then social media plugs going out, which is really good. But yeah, I think from now on, you'll see every event will be publicised. So every event that you're going to see, they'll have its own little description, own little page. People can then, ask questions of it. So yes. And by the way, still looking for ushers. Like, we're trying to recruit 30 ushers. It's very, very difficult. But
what does an usher do? Just drink the whiskey?
Sorry?
What does the usher do? Just drink the whiskey?
No, listen.
I was going to volunteer.
No, you're well, listen. 30 paid ushers, people who are going to be here and directing people to the right kind of venues at the right kind of time. Do you know what I mean? That they're very important, just like any other big event. Just like you would have seen at Dublin Live, they need people to make sure people are in the right place, getting help. So that we've got 30 spaces. At the moment, I maybe only have half of them filled. So I need more. And if people want to say, Paul, I'll come up. I'm willing to get paid. I'm willing to walk around Belfast. And by the way, ushers will go on to the trips, and they'll go out to the distilleries. They'll go out to, and they'll be there at the events. So actually, a big,
it's starting to sound attractive.
Yeah, but it's a big thing, because you'll be here. Do you know what I mean? You'll be enjoying yourself. You get to wear a cool T-shirt. You get to have some nice gifts and stuff, and you'll get paid to do it. So listen, look, we're very excited to have bringing on people to do that. We've got a whole host of people in the background doing loads of work. As I said, there's Liam, there's Niall, there's Johnny, obviously doing a massive amount of work. Neve. Grania,
well, I mean, the amount of people involved, Paul, and the benefit it's bringing. I mean, even from the people that you employ and give work to and give opportunities to, direct paid work. It's a big deal. So it's
Sergius. 2 years in a row. So 2 years in a row, we paid singers, comedians, DJs. Yeah. No one else in the city was doing that, because there was nothing getting done. We were paying them. We were giving them a job in the summertime to do something. So look, I think we've been a supporter of the arts, supporter of people having jobs. I think we're very, very Like, yeah, you know, we got things wrong. We certainly did some, you know, we got things wrong last year.
It's the only way to learn.
But, you know, 100%.
You
You
know?
know what? And
Yeah,
listen,
yeah.
But, you know, but I think we're at a different stage now. I see this as being year one. So I want people to think 2019, you know, was good crack. 2020 and 2021 were periods where we had to diversify. Super.
Look, they were outliers and they were important for the time.
Yeah. Well, listen, a lot of people then, by the way, I don't know how many people, I mean, hundreds of phone calls. Where'd you get your boxes? Where'd you get your bottles? Who did this?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, listen, sorry. And then all I saw in the last, you know, couple of years was watching people replicate what we did, which is super, by the way. And I think I'm really impressed, by the way, because actually there's another whiskey week in the world. It's not here, it's down under, which is crap, you know. And I was talking to them and going, yeah, Belfast Whiskey Week's an inspiration for Whiskey Week elsewhere. That's cool. I was like, yeah, so, you know, that's pretty smart. But no, I think we, you know, we want to see this as the start of the Whiskey Week and how it will progress going forward. And I think if people see the program, they understand what we're doing, and it can only get bigger and it can only grow. I do genuinely, and I'll continue to say this, my stamp on this is to be quite clear. I want Belfast to be the destination for an Irish whiskey festival, full stop. I want it to be bigger than Fish Isle, full stop. Why wouldn't I aim for that? Why wouldn't I aim for Belfast to be the destination place for a whiskey festival in the summertime? Because to be frank, we can all go to Speyside and Highland and Fish Isle. We can do that. We can all go to exhibition style events around the world. We can do that. But come to Belfast, you know, 9 days of great crack, having loads of fun. I mean, independent sessions, brand sessions, distillery days, walking tours, you name it. There's something for everybody. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's what's a great thing is that it's very inclusive. Of, you know, you don't have to be a diehard whiskey lover. You can be just a lover of the city, you know, a history, and still get to really enjoy it. Well, what's the vision for the future with this event, Paul? Bigger, better?
I think
taking it more globally. What
does it need to be bigger? I don't think so. I think this year, on paper, I genuinely think on paper we are the largest whiskey festival in the world. On paper,
yeah.
How many people come? That's the game changer. I think we will not change our style. So I think going forward, I think I've already got the plans in place. We've been speaking internally. What does this look like? Because we know now people who have said, "Oh, I can't be involved this year because of X," and we're going to go right. Well, now you've got a whole year because now you're in our program for next year. And if you're not in our program for next year, you tell me now. I'm not going to chase you. So you tell me now if you're not involved next year. So is it going to be bigger? No. Will it have more brands? Yes. Will it have different brands from different places around the world? Most certainly, yes. I mean, the conversations I'm having with so many different brands around the world, and they're just coming back online. Actually, it's really interesting to see some brands that are still in a state of not doing many things. You know,
absolutely,
by the way, so many of them can't get staff to do anything, let alone wanting to do something. Some of them they don't have the staff, they don't have the ambassadors, they don't have the people in place, and particularly experienced people. So many brands out there now scampering, trying to find the right staff to do their jobs for them.
I mean, that's the biggest challenge I'm hearing from the hospitality sector is staff.
So what we're going to see next year, and so this year we're going to get it over the line. People are going to have loads of crack. It's going to be good fun. You know, I haven't even talked about. Well, anyway, moving on to next year.
Too many things to talk about.
But moving on next year, what will we see is more structure, more organised, less chaos. Because what we're going to know is by Christmas time we'll have a program out, and at that point, if you're not involved in Belfast Whiskey Week and you haven't bought a ticket by Christmas, chances are you're not going to be coming, because it will be in a place where we'll have literally gone around the world and we're working with travel agents. So that's something that I put in place 2 years ago. So 2 years ago, I've worked with so many travel agents. Now this year has been difficult for them because they've not been. People don't understand this. Travel agents are 2 years behind. So travel agents are 2 years behind. Every holiday that was booked in 2020, every holiday that was booked in 2021, is now happening in 2022. All of them at the same time. So there's no for the kind of bespoke stuff we wanted to do, that can happen. But for next year, we've got bespoke trips for people that generally are, you know, people coming in from America. There generally are people coming from India. There's people coming from different parts of the world because they're coming here for a destination holiday. And they're coming here for a destination festival. So that's different. We've got different people coming to the festival. That's different for the brands, and then they need to think about who they're catering for. But I do think, I think it's more structured next year in terms of that it will be seen far in advance. I think we've got, what are we, just over 3 weeks to the beginning of the festival. You'll have the opportunity to buy
really
tickets.
Snuck up this year for some reason.
There's good reason for that. I think people need to still understand that I wanted to do Sláinte, my little podcast. I wanted to do that every week. I really did. And unfortunately, personal things came into consideration. And anyone who's been speaking to me knows why I wasn't able to do those kind of things. And we don't need to divulge it on the telly. But I think what we will see going forward, but at the end of this, we will have launched next year, and we'll have launched in the main a program by Christmas where you can purchase tickets. And I think that's going to be. And by the way, that's for all those. See everyone who's listening to this program. See everyone who's not coming this year, who's like, humming and hawing, I'm getting holiday. Listen, if you're gonna book up, if you're gonna come, then that's dead on. If you're not gonna come, don't worry about it. But the excuse shouldn't be there that we don't know what's happening. We spoke about Belfast Whiskey Festival continuously for 4 years. It happens. It happens the last week in July. It doesn't go away. It stays the same. The date might alter by a day. That's it. That's what it is. But I think that's and remember, I don't necessarily think the Whiskey Festival is specifically just for the enthusiast. It now needs to think about itself as being for people to understand whiskey and get involved with whiskey and come and enjoy whiskey. That's what it needs to be. And by the way, name me another event like that. Name me another festival.
No, look, I think it's unprecedented anywhere, this kind of event. And I don't know, when did you start working on this year's event? Was it pretty much straight after the last one?
We started straight after, but I think that we went out to brands who we knew straight away. So obviously the local brands were the most important ones. Getting them, because this idea of distillery days is only going to get bigger. And let's think of this logically in 5 years' time. 5 years' time, we will have a distillery in Antrim, a distillery in Limavady, a distillery in Macrafell. We'll have 2 distilleries in Belfast. There's another 5 distilleries on top of what we have just now in 5 years. So think about all the distillery sessions that we have to run coach trips out around the country. Brilliant. I also want to, by the way, because Boan is so close to us, and so is Slane, that we'll probably have day trips going out to those guys as well, because they're so close to us. They're down the motorway. I'm in Drogheda in an hour and 20 minutes.
Look, Belfast is an hour and a half up the road from
exactly. So we're look, and I promised the guys down in Boan that's what we'll do, because their visitor attraction, which they're about to build and will be ready in a few years, looks phenomenal. So we're going to look. I think if people come to Belfast, we've got a whole week.
I'm getting a bit of spam here. We won't be advertising. That's not part of the festival, John.
Well, you know
Paul,
what?
Is it?
Well, we've got the speed date. I'm not sure if it'll get to that. Just popped up on the screen. But look, we've got these. We've got these facilities. They're going to be constant, and they're going to be a big part of the Whiskey Week going forward for years to come. These walk-in whiskey tours, exactly the same. Going right, taking tourists around the city, letting them know what it's all about. Anyone who's an enthusiast, so here, if you're a whiskey enthusiast, you want to be on one of those tours because you want to get an insight of what went on here. There's some great stuff there, and then look, experience events, be able to experience whiskey in a different type of environment. I think we've got some blindfold and sensory stuff, which is really cool. The idea of making things, so making food or chocolate or doing something with whiskey which is productive, which you can see an end outcome as well and be part of it. I think is going to be something we're just going to keep on thriving on. And again, using the bars, using the pubs, using the venues, using what we have here to really allow people to come in and soak up that atmosphere that we have. And the brands themselves, and the likes of McConnell's or Titanic, these are brands that are building themselves up, to have distilleries. 5 years' time, these 2 guys, I presume they're going to be big players in Belfast. We've got some of the best, I do genuinely mean that, some of the best tasting whiskies coming out of, Redeman and Copeland's chocolate.
Absolutely, yeah.
Copeland's chocolate malt, Redeman's rye. the stuff at Ecklandville, that little tiny taste we got from the old Cumber. Do you know what I mean? That there's the Hinch, by the way. Hinch has something very special up their sleeve. I've only just heard
Oh, I
about
was
it.
meant to ask actually. Do you have any Belfast Whiskey Week bottlings, special bottlings this year?
Oh my God, I can't believe we didn't even speak about that. We've got 5 at the moment. There was meant to be 6, but there's 5. So we've got an Ecklandville. So there's going to be a Dunville single casking. There is a Culloden single casking. There is 2 Stacks single casking. There is a Hinch. Now, Hinch is really interesting. Hinch is going to donate all of their profits from their bottle to the Ukraine crisis.
Oh, that's
fair play.
That's fair play. Yeah.
And then we've got who else is Redemon have one as well.
Excellent.
So there you go. Some really interesting whiskies. And again, look, has there been calls for more? Yeah, other people have said, can we do
Look,
them?
bigger does not mean necessarily better. I think you're absolutely right, and I think that's important to recognize. It's a week. There's plenty of choice as there is. If it's better organized and you can select what you want, brilliant. But Paul, I mean, we could go on all night about the week. Just in terms of what gone into this, I know. Actually, I don't know, but I can't even imagine the amount of work that goes into organizing something of this nature, because it's a huge undertaking. So again, congratulations. I have no doubt in my mind whatsoever that it's going to be a great success, and looking forward to the years in the future where it's a permanent fixture on the calendar.
Thank you. Oh no, I appreciate that. I didn't even talk about there's private events in the festival. I didn't even talk about them. So there's other events. I mean, you got to remember, like we've got events for the public, super, and there's loads of them, hundreds of them. But and is bigger better? I'm not 100% sure. It's big. It's huge. It doesn't need to be bigger than what it is. It doesn't need to be bigger than what we've planned. Will it be better? Of course it will be better, and we'll always continue to tweak. Things will become better. And by the way, I've always said this, Belfast Whiskey Week is bigger than me. Belfast Whiskey Week is bigger than Paul. And at some point, other people continue to take it on. And I hope the city, we've said this before, and I've been in the ear of the city council. I want the city to take it on. I want the city to, take a hold of the festival and make it theirs, because we've got festivals here where the city really does get behind it, and the actual businesses continually get behind it and support it. So, look, there's private events. Some of our sponsors, some of the organisations we're working with, they'll have their own events. But we've also got, if you belong to these groups, by the way, Culloden Cult, 2 Stacks Nation, Friends of Bushmills, or Bushmills Whiskey, Friends of Middleton Group. If you belong to any of those groups, there's a free event in the festival. You can come along, and there's just, it's a little cozy, kind of cheeky place where you can meet other people from those groups, and you can have a bit of fun. All right, so I would suggest come along, particularly if you want to drink their whiskies, because I'm going to be leaving lots of whiskey there for people just to come along and have a wee quiet session. So Excellent. Have a look out for them. They'll be good crack. All right.
Okay. Well, look, I suppose the place to look out for all of this is your Facebook page.
Yeah.
Belfast Whiskey Week.
I'll certainly keep an update going out on Instagram just now. So you're going to see Instagram and Facebook updates. They'll go out as updates. The page, you'll start to see the actual events going up. They will go out tonight and over tomorrow, and hopefully tomorrow, fingers crossed, that we have them all lined up, so they're all there, and you can go in and either purchase individual events or purchase day passes. But look, I do think that it's a great opportunity. Super.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely going to make a couple of days out of it anyway, and figure out what days it'll be. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So, look, Paul, again, congratulations. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm sure, as I said, it'll be a success, and onwards and upwards with all of it. And I'm looking forward to seeing so many people up north there that I know and I'm friends with. So, congratulations, as I said, and we'll see you soon.
Cheers, Serge. Listen, I really appreciate you having me on the show. And listen,
I'm delighted. Always welcome, Paul.
Someone asked me, could they have a golden ticket? Could they have one ticket to do the whole thing?
Oh,
and do you know what? If you want one, you can have one. Do you know what I mean? So that person asked that question. If you want to have the golden ticket, no bar. Because sure, why not? And we've done it in the past. So listen, thank you very much, Serge, for getting us on, and everyone who was listening today. Sure, if you've got a question, come back to me, ask me the question. Do you know what I mean? But hopefully we've got something there in the festival for you. All right.
Yeah. Look, congratulations on all the effort from you and all your team. So well done. Good night.
Night.
Cheers, Paul. Well, I hope that gave you an appetite for what's coming up now over the Belfast Whiskey Week. Real insight, and I think, gosh, in person it just sounds something that you really just do not want to miss. So I'm looking forward to it, and we'll try and get in there for a couple of nights. And like I said, Belfast is always a great city, so enjoy. And thank you all very much for joining us. I look forward to speaking to you again shortly. We're kind of getting back on track with the show, and thank you everybody for following us. And if you want to see it replayed, you can go onto our website and find us there, or on our YouTube channel. So if you have enjoyed it, please follow our YouTube channel and give us any feedback on any ideas you have. So constructive or destructive, all appreciated. So thank you very much. Have a good night. Slán.